Rightio, so I set you guys a challenge to think of a childhood movie that you watched, obviously, when you were very young, that you haven't revisited since. Mainly because you didn't want to ruin the experience that you have of that movie. So, like, I chose The Never-ending Story, which I still love to this day, but I don't want to watch it again because I don't want to ruin it and think this is really bad. So, instead of me watching it, I gave it to Russell to watch. And Russell
Yeah,
picked...
cheers for that.
No worries. Russell picked The Mask with Jim Carrey. So he gave that to Dave. And Dave chose E.T. and he gave it to me. And then we're going to sit down now and have a little bit of chat about what these movies were like and whether they stand up.
Who wants to go
Alrighty.
first?
Let's get the most recent one out of the way. Then I say Dave with The Mask because if anything, I reckon that's probably held up the best.
I would say it has. I remember it came out in '94. I looked that up. And the special effects actually were better than I thought. I remember on last week's episode we were saying how the special effects might start to look a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
But actually the mask he was wearing
Was a cut
was obviously like it was a rubber type mask that he like makeup. So that still looked really good. And the rest of it was a little bit cartoony, but
But wasn't it meant to be?
it was meant to be because it's sort of the way they explained it in the movie is the mask sort of projected your thoughts into it, and he was a big cartoon fan, the character.
Yeah.
So it actually worked really well. The way they explained it made it work better. The only thing that didn't really stand up was some of the haircuts on the women. They still had that kind of big hair left over from the 80s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So a couple of the characters did that. I'd forgotten that Cameron Diaz was the main love interest in that movie.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
I still
I think-
remember that when she walks into the bank.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I
yeah,
definitely
the
still
red-
remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Red dress.
Yeah. What was it? Look
Yeah,
her,
so
look
I
her
mean-
at 9 o'clock or something?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It had,
I have not seen this movie for
It
about
was-
20
it
years.
it was campy, it was cheesy, it was childish, but it worked.
That's right up your alley, really,
So
isn't it?
Yes.
that's
Get in.
yes, it sounds like a Russ movie. So
No, I'm talking about it's
Yes.
right up David's alley. Cheesy.
look, to be honest, I
Didn't have to think about it
wouldn't
much.
have, I wouldn't have chosen to go back to it myself, but I'm glad I did. It was worth watching.
Do you know Jim Carrey was only paid $450,000 to star in that film?
Only.
That's a fact,
Was
boy.
that his first big movie? Or
Ace Ventura was
Ace
his first.
Ventura.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd done stuff before, so it was a bit of a bargain, especially as it made over $328 million at the box office.
Yeah.
Wow, and that was
I
over
think
20 years ago.
he filmed Ace Ventura and then he went straight into doing The Mask and then
Before Ace Ventura,
became that huge hit that it was, and so obviously it wasn't like this.
Yeah.
Can we just say 450,000 is not a low number to get paid?
No, but for acting, it is. It is for actors.
Yeah, but not in your second movie, I wouldn't have thought.
True. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I own the actual mask. Well, I say I don't own the actual mask because obviously that's not real. I don't turn into Stanley Ipkiss and things, but no, I own like a replica of it, and it was up on my wall, and it was one of the first times Mrs. Palm came round to my house, so I've got quite a bit of movie memorabilia. Since she's been knocking about, though, it seems to have been like pushed into my spare room, right? And then I always remember this one is hanging up on the wall, nowhere near like a light switch, right? So remember that. She comes downstairs after she'd gone to the bathroom and holding it in two pieces in her hands.
Oh,
I was like,
no.
what? I'm like, what are you doing? I was looking for the light switch. I said, whoa, 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 whoa. No. There is no light switch anywhere near that. What has gone on? Yeah, broke. So that story is still still up in the air. No one knows what really happened.
Do you think she tried it on and...
I think she tried it on and jumped behind the sofa to see if it would actually turn her into the mask, and it didn't, and he ended up breaking. That's what I think really happened.
When you say you have a mask, do you have the green version or like the wooden version?
The wooden version. Yeah, that turns you
yep.
into it. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right,
but, Dave, I'd like to give you last two things on the mask: a rating out of 5, but then I want your best mask impression.
Oh God.
I've got to say the word smoking.
That's exactly what I was going for.
Yeah.
I I would give that or we're doing percentages or decimals. I would give it a
Out of
3.5. 3.5.
That's good.
Yep.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah, and I would say it was definitely smoking.
Yes. Get in, Nate. What would you give the impression out of 5?
I'll tell you, he's probably got you covered for impressions.
I don't think so. Don't be silly.
Somebody stop me.
All right, you've done enough.
Yeah. They're all coming. They're all coming. Oh, yes. Let's just get rid of the film reviews and just do impressions.
I've got none.
Nate, do you want to go next or do you want me to go?
I'll go last.
Okay.
Yeah, so therefore, you go next.
Well, we are in order because my film was 1984 and yours was 1982. So we are going backwards in time.
Well, there you go.
So
I didn't do any research on mine, so I don't know when it came out. Go.
That's fine. Well, I had the pleasure of watching The Never-ending Story. Childhood classic. I also loved it as a child as well.
Mm-hmm.
Watching it back as an adult, a little bit different, shall we say. Let's just say this one definitely didn't hold up.
Yeah.
It's only 90 minutes long, but it felt like over 2 hours. It felt like The Never-ending Story. The biggest thing that I noticed in this one is that, and it's so frustrating. I hate it like if my internet stream goes like and it's out of sync by half a second or something. But the majority of characters' voices don't match the lips whatsoever. Like the special effects is literally just a mouth opening and then the words just coming out at random times.
You mean like the dragon or the stone monster?
Don't worry, Dave. We've got a section just on the dragon. But yeah. Exactly like those guys. It's also when you watch it as a kid, when you watch it, you can get into the story. When you watch it as an adult, you basically realize it's the most depressing film that has ever happened. So like, I don't even want to talk about when Art Track's the horse dies. No, let's not even go anywhere near that. However, so I've obviously done, because we're back to original format, so it means the Pom's allowed to do research again. So I did a bit of research. When you think about it, so the big thing is obviously about the storm, the nothing. That is apparently a metaphor for clinical depression. So yeah.
Oh, well, that's sad.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so it's very depressing. Loads of depressing stuff happens. The final confrontation between, I can't pronounce his name, Airtreu, I think that's how you pronounce it, and Gmork is dreadful. So you've been building up to it and it just kind of just over in seconds. But let's get on to my favourite part. Let's talk about Falkor, the luck dragon. Okay? Basically, he's a paedophile. That dragon. Okay.
Oh my
God. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna post it on Twitter because there's one scene from the movie where he basically he sort of comes into the film and he wakes up in Falkor's arms and the luck dragon's like introducing like, oh, where's he come from? And the big thing he says is he just goes, I like children. And then he tells him, he says you talk in your sleep, and winks at him in like this really creepy way. And then he gets the little kid to scratch behind his ears, and then he's just moaning, going, oh, that's so good. Oh, God. Honestly, it's meant, like, watching it back, you're like, how is that even been allowed to go on TV? So you know how like Jabba the Hutt kind of like holds up from the Return of the Jedi?
Yeah,
Falkor. Yeah, Falkor definitely doesn't add up. Yeah, it was. I enjoy. Don't get me wrong, right? I enjoyed watching it back as an adult because I found it quite funny. Like the parts, I enjoyed looking into like the deeper story. It did go quite slow, but it was a nice. Yeah, it was nice bit of just to watch it again. I enjoyed it.
So what would you rate it out of 5 then, Russ?
Out of 5, it did, as much as I enjoyed it, it did go quite, I basically only enjoyed it because Falkor was really creepy. So I think
that says more about you than the movie.
Yeah, exactly, Dave. I think watching it back, I would give it, because the special effects aren't great. The horse scene shocked me again. I can't believe I had to relive that memory. I'd give it a 2 out of 5.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, 2 out of 5.
I will
I
never.
know, I know.
I will never ever watch this movie again because I have such fond
Yeah, you
memories of
can't.
it.
Yeah, you can't.
Sorry for ruining your
Can't.
childhood, Russell, but it's exactly why. It's exactly why I sent these tasks to other people, because I didn't want to watch it, but I wanted to know what it was like.
Nate, I think Falcor ruined a few people's childhoods, if you know what I mean.
Oh dear. All right. So
yeah, that was a never-ending story. So over to the E.T. then.
I can just, all I've got to say about this one is thank you, Dave, for picking it, because bloody oath, it's a good movie, and it holds up so well. The only thing that I will say is I only could get a copy of the slightly edited version. They released one that they updated the graphics a little bit from the original, but it didn't make much difference.
The original. I was just going to say the original probably didn't have any graphics, did it?
No.
It would have all been practical effects.
Yeah, so they've just updated that a little bit, but not majorly. But this movie had me to the point of nearly crying. Oh
wow!
Because I watched it again today, and it was just like you get like the goosebumps and everything when stuff happens, and it holds up, and it's one of my favourite movies I've watched this in the last couple of years, and I haven't watched it since the 80s. So yeah,
excellent.
Yeah, great movie, and Steven Spielberg knocked it out of the park. My only one issue with it. My only one little issue with it is at one point all the boys are trying to evade authorities with E.T. and they start riding down these...
When they're riding their bikes, do you mean?
Yeah, and they're riding down these sand dune kind of hill things. And Elliot was meant to be about 5 or 6, I suppose. And you could quite clearly see... Yeah, and you could quite clearly see the guy that was riding his bike was a stuntman that was aged about 30.
Yeah, that's a good part. I enjoy that part.
Like, he goes from this short little kid, and then all of a sudden they're starting to run down these hill bits, and you can see it was like an adult riding this bike. But apart from that, it was, held up very well, and I'd give it a 5 out of 5.
Oh, nice. Well,
good score.
Nate, I am going to have to stop you briefly there, because Dave did an impression of The Mask. I did an impression of Falcor. I think someone needs to do an impression of E.T.
Gee, if only there was a famous line from that movie.
No.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Right, here it is. Ready for it? E.T. Phone Home. That's as good as I got.
Brilliant. I love the inflection in your voice. It was perfect.
I am...
Yeah, it was.
I am like a impersonator. Anyway.
You were trying to think of something really good then, weren't you? And in the end, you just went impersonator.
I couldn't think of a famous impersonator.
Good. Well, hey, that's a nice little finish there with a 5 out of 5. E.T. is a classic. I think I could watch it again and again. It's been it's not been as long as you, Nate, but it's been a few years since I watched it. Like I said on last week's show, it's kind of always on at Christmas time. It's a brilliant film, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, and another couple of things about E.T. that I liked was that the older brother wasn't a dick, and he actually helped. And like you see movies these days, it's always the older brother's a dick and carries on, but this older brother in this one actually helped and stuff, and stuff like that. I don't have an older brother that isn't a dick, so I don't know what it's like.
Okay. Because you said, I was actually contemplating whether I should say this, but when you said E.T. almost cried, I thought, I know the only movie that's actually made you cry. Do you want me to mention it?
You mentioned it. You're never coming on this podcast again.
Okay. Everyone else, close your ears.
No,
Russ.
No, don't you dare say. This is official first warning, David.
Dave, we'll catch up separately.
Okay. If anyone wants to know, you can get me at Afghani on Twitter. and I may let you know.
Nate, what a great little segment. I enjoyed that one. I think we should definitely try and do something like that in future episodes where we challenge each other and we'll give each other some homework. So we'll think about our next one to do.